Well, what is going on, everybody? Um, it is playoff season coming up in hockey. Um, so yeah, um, we are getting to the playoffs now. I'll get started with the West just because that's where I usually start for round one. So yeah, first up we have the Vegas Golden Knights and the Winnipeg Jets. Um, Vegas surprised me. Now I knew they would make the playoffs, but I didn't think they would actually win the Pacific Division. But I do think Vegas is a front runner. I do think Vegas is the front runner in my eyes for the Stanley Cup, and I think Vegas is gonna knock out the I think Vegas is gonna knock out Winnipeg. It'll be a very tough series for Vegas because I think Winnipeg is dangerous. Um, Connor Hellebuck can absolutely steal the series, but in the end, I think Vegas' depth will show up. I think the Knights will win this in 6 games. It'll be tougher than people think, to be honest, because Connor Hellebuck is that fucking guy and can steal a series. All right, next up, we got a whitewash in my eyes. This is probably going to be the worst first round series. The Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. The Oilers have home ice advantage. I don't really need much to say. The Oilers are going to win, and it won't even be close. The Kings don't have any goal scoring. Granted, I will say this. The Kings have good goaltending. I like Korpisalo. Their defense is very mid. Their scoring was on fire early. Then it started to cool down, showing us why I thought the Kings were going to miss the playoffs, and they surprisingly made it. But in the end, this is really a no doubt about it for me. Edmonton Oilers, I think they bust out the Bruins. I think this will be spoiler alert, this will be the only time I see a team busting out the Bruins in the first round of the playoffs. Moving on, we got the Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. Okay, everyone's saying it's going to be easy for Colorado. I disagree. I think it's going 7. Here's why. Because they have no Gabe Landeskog. Their scorers really are just Mikko Rantanen and then Nathan McKinnon. Other than that, they have like nobody that can produce at an efficient level on the up front. And then you have the back end, which is the blue line. It is terrible outside of Cale. Cale Makar is their blue line, and he was very inconsistent and hit by injuries this year. Let's not forget he got hit by injuries this year. On top of that, they don't have a second line center or Gabe Landeskog, so Yanni Gourde is going to have free real estate on them. Hence why I think it'll go 7, but I think the defending champs will move on, unfortunately. I want Seattle to win. By the way, if you think I'm going to get over the finals loss, I'm not. Because the only way I can get over losing to someone in the playoffs is if you get revenge on them. And we won't get revenge on them because, in my eyes, we're not going to end up playing. If we do go to the finals, we're not going to play Colorado. It's going to be someone else. Give me Colorado to win in 7 games. All right, next up, we got the probably most overrated playoff series of the first round, the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Wild really just have Kaprizov and Zuccarello, and occasionally they have some decent forwards. Their blue line is very mid. Their goaltending is eh. The Wild in general, just the definition of MID. They're just a big fat pile of mid. Hence why I think the Stars are going to win. I think the Stars scoring will show up. Robertson, Ben is good come playoff time. The Stars, I think, are ready for the playoffs. Jake Ottinger's an absolute beast. I think Ottinger is going to have a big series, and the Stars win it in 5 games. All right, moving on to the East. We have the 65-win Boston Bruins taking on the Florida Panthers. I think everyone is overlooking Florida and saying Boston's going to go to the second round with ease. And I do think Boston will get to the second round. But I think everyone, and I mean everyone, is overrating Boston. They are not as good as everyone says they are. And I've watched Boston quite a bit when I'm able to. And I've streamed Boston on the NHL 66. They are so overrated. It's not even funny. They're by far the most overrated team in the league, and it isn't even close. I can definitely see Florida beating them, and I will not be surprised if the Panthers pull off the upset. If Boston loses, this will be even worse than Tampa losing to Columbus in round one. Let me explain why. Because Boston had a record-setting season, an even better record-setting season than Tampa, with 65 wins. Even though most of Boston's wins were come from behind in overtime, and Boston is not as good as everyone says they are. They are not. And this is why I think Boston will win, but it will be close. I say it goes 6 games. It'll be really close. I think Boston gets a Game 6 overtime winner in Sunrise. All right, let's get this one out of the way. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs. As y'all know, I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I am very scared and very nervous for this series. And eventually, guys, Toronto's going to get it done. Eventually, they're going to get it done. Everyone's writing off Toronto like, oh, the Maple Leafs, they're going to lose in the first round. They're an automatic outcome round one of the playoffs. I, however, disagree with you. I disagree heavily. Here's why. Because the Maple Leafs this year, this is the best team they have had with their current core of Austin Matthews, John Tavares, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and others. And their blue line is better with Morgan Riley and some other guys. And now they have more depth with Luke Schenn on the back end. They just got Ryan O'Reilly, and he's back. And we all know Ryan O'Reilly is ready for playoff hockey. We know that Ryan O'Reilly is ready for playoff hockey. And I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm taking the Leafs because I don't think the depth of this team is there like last year, where we had the depth, we were able to beat the Leafs because of our depth. And while Justin Hall's an idiot, and I don't know how he's still on the Leafs roster. We don't have that. Our blue line is notably worse. We just traded Cal Outfoot for Tanner Jeannot. Now, I liked getting Tanner Jeannot, and I explored the possibility of getting Tanner Jeannot, but I did not want to give up Calfoot. I was more willing to send Calfoot to the minors because I didn't think he was ready. And we traded him. I'm like, why? Anyways, before I continue, Mile High 6, shout out to you. Good luck. And I hope it's a good series for both of us. I hope it's good. But we shall see. Also, guys, I might secure the bag for Game 3. I might. Moving on. In my eyes, what I think is going to be the upset of round 1. Spoiler alert. We have the Carolina Hurricanes playing the New York Islanders. And you guys know I'm picking the Islanders because I said upset. Here's why. The Carolina Hurricanes are so overrated. Their defense is not that good. Their goaltending is meh. In fact, Frederik Andersen has been horrible this year. Took a massive step back. They don't have Andrei Svechnikov. So there goes any goal scoring depth they had. There goes any single one of it. They don't have any depth scoring wise. Their back end is pretty mid. And the Islanders just got Matt Barzal back, and they have him, Bo Horvat, and this is pretty much the same Islander team that refuses to lose postseason games. And this is why I'm taking the New York Islanders to knock off the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games. And we got, in my eyes, the best of the first round. The Battle of the Hudson River. The New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers. The Devils were probably the surprise team of the season, as nobody, absolutely nobody, including myself, thought the Devils would be anywhere near the playoffs. Nobody thought they would sniff the playoffs. Nobody did. Jack Hughes, career year. Andre Palat showed to be, even though he got injured a lot this year, showed to be a decent signing for them. Jesper Bratt broke out. Their goaltending played surprisingly well. Their blue line played really well this year. And then you got the Rangers, the team I picked to win the Stanley Cup in the preseason. The Rangers are a good hockey team, but I'm not sure if they can repeat what they did last year. I am not sure. This will be a phenomenal series. I think both of these teams are going to put on a show, as it is with the Battle of the Hudson River. And I'm probably going to watch this more than Leafs Lightning, outside of possibly Game 3, because I might secure the bag for Game 3 of Lightning and Leafs. This is going to be a very good series. And I struggled a bit. I flipped the coin, and guess what, guys? The New Jersey Devils won, so I'm going to pick the Devils to win. This will be a war. This will be a phenomenal series. I cannot wait for the battle for the Hudson. New Jersey wins this 7 games. It'll be a dogfight. This will be a war. Anyways, on to the West. We got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. This is the best second round series. Oilers and Knights, in my predictions, by the way. That doesn't mean it will happen, but based on what I predicted in the first round, this is what I got in the first round. This is what I got in the second round. So the Knights are a front runner for the Cup. So are the Oilers. Connor McDavid can do anything. Anything can happen when it comes to Mr. Connor McDavid, the best player in the National Hockey League and probably the greatest NHL player since Mario Lemieux. McDavid is a special player, and the Oilers gotta go to the finals this year. The blue line is okay. Goaltending is fine. Skinner can play goalie. We don't even need to talk about their scoring. Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. What else? Leon Draisaitl. They have other guys. Like, the Oilers are a balanced team this year, unlike the last few years. I am predicting the Vegas Golden Knights to win in 7 games over the Edmonton Oilers. 7-game series. Moving on. We got the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. This is where I think Colorado's run as defending champs comes to an end. I think the Avs are going to get beat by the Stars here. I think the Stars' goaltending is going to be able to shut down Colorado. I think their defense in general slows down the Avs. And I've said all year, the Avs are not as good as last year. If they were, then they would be the favorite to win. But no, they don't have a second-line center. Gabe Landeskog is out for the playoffs. Their scoring depth is terrible outside of, Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon. They really don't have anybody. Their blue line is mid outside of Kale. I think the Avalanche get beat here. Give me the Stars in 6 games over Colorado. Moving on. Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, this time in the second round of the playoffs. Everyone is saying the Leafs will choke. No. Boston's the one who's going to choke. Give me the Leafs, and I think they sweep them. I think they sweep them so bad that Boston's going to make a lot of changes. They're going to fire Don Sweeney. And most of that core is going to end up retiring or walking in free agency. The only thing that's keeping the Bruins around together is Pastrnak. Like, my God. The Bruins are so overhyped. This is their last shot, and they're going to waste it. Leafs break out the Bruins. I don't understand why everyone's slurping on the Bruins this year. They're not that good. I've watched them a lot. They're overrated as hell. Toronto will sweep them. Winner of Lightning and Leafs is going to sweep Boston. The Leafs are due, and they're very hungry. And if Tampa wins, they're guaranteed to go to the third round because guess what? The Lightning in the second round are the greatest team in NHL history. Fight. They murder people in the second round. Moving on. New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders series. Actually, the Devils will have home ice. I think the Devils continue their run. I think the Islanders' run comes to an end. I think the Devils will slow down the Islanders. And the Devils win in 6 games. Here we go. Third round, Vegas Golden Knights versus the Dallas Stars 2020 rematch. I think Vegas gets their revenge. I think the Knights get revenge on Dallas. 3 years in the making, and the Knights get their revenge. Knights win in 6 games. It'll be tough. Any of the Leafs and the Devils. I think the Leafs are going to obliterate the Devils here. I think the Devils get obliterated by a hungry Leafs team, and I think the Devils get destroyed in 6 games. I think the Devils will get 2 overtime wins, and then the Leafs just dominate them in their wins. And moving on, we got the Stanley Cup Finals in my predictions. It is the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights. And Leafs, this is where I think your run comes to an end. I think Vegas is going to win the Stanley Cup in 5 games over the Maple Leafs, although I do think it can be a really good series. Give me the Vegas Golden Knights to win in 5 games, and my Conn Smythe Trophy winner. It's a tough one for me. I don't really know. So I'm going to go with, in his first postseason ever, Jack Eichel. I think Jack Eichel gets the Conn Smythe, and Vegas goes to the finals or wins the Stanley Cup. Anyways, that's going to end it. See you guys next time. Peace.